Welcome back to FlowState. I hope you're doing well. How was your week? Full of excitement, full of grounding action. Today, we are in La Laguna going up the top of Mesa Mota, a fabulous, I would say, a hill. It's less of a mountain per se, considering there are so many amazing peaks here in Tenerife. This is right in La Laguna, which is an incredible city, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, actually. It's where the airport is, and it's really well positioned in the north. So if you live here, you have the advantage of having an incredible kind of, let's say, condensed cosmopolitan area that is full of pedestrian streets and full of life and energy. It's also gorgeous, so that's really cool. The disadvantage of living there is that it's built atop of a lagoon, so it's quite cool all year round relative to the rest of the island. And I mean, it does get warm. It's like 27 degrees out Celsius. I don't know what that is Fahrenheit. Anyways, this is a great location, so took full advantage. Beautiful day, and let's fucking roll. So, lots of exciting news. My arm is basically back to normal. I can lift it up past my shoulder. I'm going to the osteopath tomorrow to get it fully aligned. Apparently, there's an issue with my rotator cuff. I fucked it up when I was young, I guess. I don't know. I hit a tree while snowboarding, and then many years later, somebody pushed me off a transom into the ocean. It was barely any distance, but he just nudged me in just the perfect location, and my shoulder dislocated. So I was like, oh fuck. And then I guess it just never quite healed properly. So let's get into it. Flow state. If this is your first flow state with me, little recap. The concept is that I go to an interesting location, press record without having much premeditated thinking about what it is that I'm going to be talking about. And because of that, the fuck was that? Because of that, sometimes there's a little dead air. Sometimes I go on a nice monologue and we just see where we go. There's continuity, there's a little disassociation of thoughts and phrases that are very natural in a uncontrived format, which is a general conversation that I try to have with you to be able to provide actionable ideas, tools, and strategies to be able to impact your life in a meaningful way, to be able to uplift the human experience for you, to bridge the gap by training concepts that are prevalent in the work that I do, to be able to provide some insight and some actionable strategies for you to take home and implement in your day. If you haven't already done so, please check out the show notes where there are links to various tools and downloadable PDFs, ebooks, and courses that have been developed for your enjoyment, for your benefit, and as well as all of the short videos that I publish on YouTube and Instagram. Everything that gets published is based on one principle, which is to create an action in the viewer. So I'm not going to say never because I want to leave some room there, but let's say 99% of the time, all of the content that I produce is designed to empower you in the moment, not in 3 weeks, but right fucking there. And the onus is on you to take advantage of this. Because if you watch it and then don't take action, it's just entertainment. And that's fine, that's cool. But we're here to grow. I'm here to challenge you, I'm here to push you, and I know you're capable of more because you're here watching, participating in this conversation. And by taking advantage of the comment section on any platform, you can be in communication directly with me, ask specific questions, and if you're interested in taking that to the next level, you can join Everyday Action, which is a community that you can access on or through our website, and it's at zero cost to you for now. We're launching this community because we're going to be using it as a platform for live group coaching, which is an amazing thing for you to take advantage of, and create a community of like-minded individuals who are focused on growth, who prioritize their well-being and how they can see that as a catalyst to impacting the world in a positive way. What we're looking to do from a high-level perspective is empower all of the individuals that are looking to do better in any aspect of their life, whether it's health and wellness, relationships, career, general personal development. It's what it's all about. Life is way too fucking short to not take advantage of every moment that we have to be that 1% better in whatever capacity that is and whatever that means for all of us. It's our responsibility as a society to improve, to move forward in a meaningful way, to be able to impact the world, to be of service. One of my core values is service. I just got goosebumps thinking about service. Service is a deeply personal and profound concept. People who have families, like children, for example, and who are really committed to their family. I mean, there are people who are not, could use various language to describe those types of people, and who have no personal responsibility over their actions. We're not talking about those types of people. We're talking about people who are deeply committed to the success of their family, their children, their wife, their husband, whatever, okay? Not leveraging this incredible gift, this, what I call a superpower, to be able to tap in to service in a meaningful way that contributes to the well-being. And I'm not just talking about paying for shit. That's super fucking low status shit. This is the bottom of the barrel. We're talking about something, resonating at a high frequency. Being able to guide and shape someone is an incredible responsibility. One that I don't take lightly, one that I have learned to deepen over time. I think it's a skill that we can develop. It's not necessarily something that we have like an innate gift in, let's say, sinking our teeth right away into this. It's scary, it's crazy to wake up one day and then all of a sudden you have kids and you're like, whoa, man, that was wild. And it takes time to settle into this feeling. It takes time to, let's say, equalize from what your life was like before and what your life is like in this moment today, and how you see yourself growing in to becoming a parent in the future. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes consistently showing up with a resilient, growth-oriented mindset, a leader's mindset, one that sees the future clearly because they've done the work. They've invested into themselves. They've laid out their core values, and they live in alignment every day. Every choice, every decision, every path, every long-term vision is grounded in core values. And I've spoken about this before because it's so foundational. Are you choosing your values, or are they be chosen for you? Are you choosing your values, or are they being chosen for you? Think about that. Society, culture, socioeconomic stability or instability, marketing, where you grew up, the type of family you had, all of these things are directly correlated to how you see the world. What school you went to or didn't go to, what kind of car your parents choose to drive, the way that your parents raised you, all of this programming is creating a path for you. You can choose to accept it by allowing it to permeate within you deeply, by not questioning it, or you can choose for yourself how you're going to show up, how you're going to interact with people, by reflecting, by creating, by tapping into your own fucking power, not someone else's expectation of what you should be doing, how you should be speaking, how you should be fucking dressing, what you should be studying, your contribution to the world. It's not for them to choose. It's not for them to decide. It's your responsibility. Breaking free of these expectations. Understanding that you have time. Time is an incredible, leverageable asset. Most people want to rush through life and then, bam, it's fucking over. This idea of relaxing through time and space and enjoying moments, spontaneity, feeling the connection that one has with their deeper meaning of contribution. Understanding that there is no rush to life. There is no need to rush through life. People have this innate desire to go through life like it's some kind of fucking race. A race to the bottom is what it most certainly looks like. Getting clear on the direction that you want to set out to lock into. Getting clear on the direction of your values. And it takes time to figure this out, which is why it's foundational, which is why after vitality, it's the second thing that we focus on in the growth blueprint, getting clear on our values. We're nothing without our values. So I'll ask you this, do you know how you live your life? You choose your actions based on what? Based on what other people want of you? Based on your family's expectations, your upbringing, your religious background? These are questions that require your presence. These are questions that will shape the next 20 plus years of your life. You don't want to go through life and then wake up one day realizing that you hate doing what it is that you're doing, that you feel so detached from your center and you don't know how you got there. In many ways, this is what happened to me. I, in many ways, didn't really connect with myself on a deep and profound level until I started on this journey about 9 years ago. And my parents were incredible. They were loving, supportive, And they were focused with conviction on building their company, which they did beautifully. And there are trade-offs in general, unless you're really present about what you're doing when you're focused on something so intensely. And so some of you may know I went to boarding school at a very young age. That was an incredibly challenging time in my life. The bullying was next level. The way in which the educational model was being presented was very rigorous, very intense. And so there was a massive struggle there. That was an incredible moment in my life because it's something that challenged me, but in a way that locked me into a way of thinking that wasn't very open to, let's say, self-exploration and understanding in a more profound way what it is that I was after and what it is that I wanted. Part of it is also, it's like, it's okay not to know what you want. It's okay to feel lost for a period of time in your life. You need to go on a journey of self-exploration and understand yourself first. If you're not clear on who you are, how can you make aligned choices for where you're looking to go? It's not something that's going to yield the result that you're looking for. This is crazy. They totally changed this up here. We're gonna go explore this abandoned building. It's pretty cool. We're gonna go a little walk and then explore. It took me so long to break free of a program that was downloaded into my mind and my body about how I needed to show up, what I needed to do. And in the moment, it's all one big reaction to your circumstance. So it's a tricky fucking situation because you essentially get tricked by no fault of your own into thinking that you want certain things, that you need certain things, that these things are important to you, when in reality, they're just other people's expectations and desires for outcomes that, and to be fair, may or may not be in alignment with you. And I say may because it's true for some people. They really resonate deeply with all of the pushing and nudging to guide them into a career or a path that does ultimately become something that they absolutely love and resonate deeply with. But I think for most, it's not that. That is really, that's, it's like people need space and a sense of discovery in their life. No matter where you come from, no matter what your socioeconomic background is, no matter the challenge, to feel supported and being pushed in a direction of exploration, to explore yourself internally, not as simply a reaction to your circumstance, but looking to leaders, as in your parents. It is the role of the parent to push and to drive, not in one direction or another, but to create a sense of curiosity in children through structure, through demonstration of what is possible. Now, not everybody has wonderful parents. And so part of my mission is to be able to educate and to connect with younger people at pivotal times in their life to show them that they need to take responsibility for themselves, that they need to be leaders in their own way, that they need to push back when there's uncertainty, when there's a lack of clarity, when there's a misalignment within themselves and how they feel. So much of parenting in our culture in the West, and well, in other countries as well, in other, not countries, but just like general geography. I mean, I'm sure it's true everywhere. I'm kind of just thinking out loud here, but my point is that like so much of parents' shortcomings gets pushed onto their children. Like a basic thing, let's just say the father-son situation. So the father played a particular sport for this team at school, and a dream of the father is for that son to be doing the same thing. That is some fucked up shit. That is some narcissistic, controlling, manipulative shit. Welcome to La Laguna. The airport is right behind me. Teide is in the clouds. What a gorgeous view. The center of La Laguna is right there. You can see the church or the cathedral clock tower. Just take a moment here. So, just needed to take a picture. Thinking about this, if you're a parent, what kind of pressure are you putting on your children that is a deficiency on your part? Meaning, you'd always hope to play football for this team, but you never quite got an opportunity to for one reason or another. And that deficiency inside you, that quote unquote failure, is something that you've carried forward into your many years of adulthood, and now you have a child who you are looking to shape and mold. And your deficiencies are then propagated in how you show up for your kids, to shape them in a way that reflects who you could have been. Now, this is very different than establishing the narrative of wanting a better life for your kids. This is very different than forcing something upon an innocent child. This is true about religion as well. A simple construct of identity that is relevant to the parent, but a child who is yet to understand life, the structures of how one lives, is now going to be indoctrinated into a cult that is simply an extension of values that are not relevant to that child. We do this constantly. Are you a vegetarian? Are you an omnivore? Are you a vegan? Do you influence your children by your morals in a way that doesn't give them an opportunity to learn and grow for themselves? Are you limiting their capacity for exploration by saying, this is right, this is wrong? These are just questions to ask yourself. These are simply perspectives that need to be challenged, that need to be examined. What is the consequence of our actions as it relates to shaping the lives of innocent beings? And we all think it's for the best. We all think it's a positive, noble action. We all think it's an us versus them mentality. And there's so much righteousness in it. It's like, we are better than you because of this. I mean, that is the basis of all, I mean, it's the basis of religion or different groups. We say to ourselves, we follow this path, but deep down, it's a path of righteousness. Oh yeah. Hey, hey. This place is super sketchy. Crazy. Fucking freaky fucking shit, man. A little freaked out, a little freaked out. Not gonna go in that one. So, this is probably extremely dangerous. I hear voices. I wonder why this has not been demolished. Maybe lack of funds. All right, that's enough of this shit. I feel like how the fuck did I how did I get in here? Did I go down these? Did I go up these stairs? I feel like I came in here, no? I definitely did not go. Ah. All right, I made it. I feel better now. It's a little sketchy. You just never know with these abandoned buildings. The floor might collapse. I mean, listen, a whole building that people were living in Miami collapsed the middle of the night or whatever a few years ago. And that was apparently safe. Definitely not necessarily just blanket trust into abandoned buildings. All right, let's go back this way. Sorry, I got completely distracted. The way I see parenting is the way I see the practice of coaching and guidance. So, coaching is about achieving measurable outcomes based on systems. Guidance is the process of working with an individual, not as a means of influence per se, but simply as a mirror to their own thinking, to be able to create new perspectives and to reflect back to them their words recontextualized to create an opportunity for growth. This is the work I do. It's available to everybody that wants to participate in it, either through dropping comments or joining up in the community and participating in our group coaching or one-on-one coaching. So the work that we do inside the Growth Blueprint is also very much based on this idea. So the way I do this with my kids is simple. Let's say there's a measurable, there's an outcome that needs to happen because they've chosen the path, but they need support in realizing and bridging the gap between where they are now and the output of the outcome. So that's a very focused, structured approach to influencing that process. Now, it might take some education on my part because it's not something that I'm familiar with, or it's not something that I have all of the prerequisite knowledge or tools to be able to help them. And then I do the work, and then I support. Guidance, on the other hand, is about the high level, more open-ended philosophical questions that is less about a system and more about an ongoing relationship and conversation. So that's how I approach parenting. Two things. One, you're supporting through ongoing conversations, relationship, general family stuff. I mean, that's what I find. There's like such a disconnect between getting clarity as to what your purpose is as it relates to being a parent. Now, this is happening whether you like it or not. So you might as well choose the intention and be present with that intention so you can do it in a more meaningful way that's going to yield a desired outcome for that person. You're there to support, you're there to create space for people to be able to grow and flourish. It all comes back to presence. You can't do this if you're all fucked up all the time. And I don't mean on compounds and substances, I mean just thinking about different things that are not relevant to what it is that you're doing in the present moment. And as a society, we're constantly being pulled from one thing to another. We're distracted. We have zero fucking attention span. The fact that you're still here watching this now speaks incredibly high of you. The fact that you can hold something in your mind for more than 3 seconds, that's the work, that's the practice. That's the commitment to living in a higher vibrational state. It's a cool background. Focus on this the next time you're with a group of people. Focus on this the next time you're on a walk and you see kids glued to their phones without the ability to communicate, without the ability to have any kind of real human connection. It's not judgment, it's just discernment. It's awareness. It's using my fucking eyes and looking out into the world in front of me and seeing what I see. And you'll see the same thing. If you have a little bit of presence, a little bit of calm, clarity at the forefront of all of this, okay? Just like core values, grounding yourself in all of the actions and thinking that goes on in your brain. Without clarity, we become confused. We become full of things like anxiety, overwhelm, burnout, a sense of complete and utter depletion of energy and focus, all of which can be resolved like that through a practice of checking in with yourself, with understanding that these underlying emotions are simply indicators trying to connect you to clarity. Getting clear will suddenly allow your brain and your nervous system to connect and slow down. Feeling overwhelmed? Do a clarity check-in. Take a break. Do some breathing. Recenter yourself and get clear on the objective. Start with the end in mind and then go back and say, these are the necessary steps in order to get to this destination. And then execute. And do so with conviction. Do so with extreme focus. And then take a break. Recalibrate. Realign. It's not sustainable for high quality output to work many hours in a row. It's just like this fallacy of multitasking or context switching. Don't take it from my perspective, take it for your own. Look at neuroscience and context switching. The damage that it does trying to be, let's say, efficient with all of your actions and your thinking. It's why meditation can be so powerful. It's why not checking your phone first thing in the morning is a great way of setting yourself up for success, not necessarily in the morning, but in the afternoon. When you're battling distraction, when you're battling resistance, when you're feeling a depletion of energy. Why structuring your day in a way that leverages your natural energetic cycle will give you more time, more energy, more space, more clarity, more focus to be able to do the things that you say you want to do that day. Resistance is a motherfucker. Everybody has resistance. Everybody's battling resistance in some form or another. Resistance is that little underlying feeling of all of these negative attributes of failure or insecurity. Fuck that shit. It's all a byproduct of not having clarity, of not having the underlying energy through vitality, knowing your core values, not relying on your emotional state to take action, being clear on the objective, and starting with the end in mind and going backwards. Feeling that in your entire being, and not just in the daily tasks, but weekly, monthly, yearly, 10 years, 20 years. Where do you want to end up? Hold that, taste it, feel it, embody it. Making right choices that support your long-term vision is so easy when you're locked in to that long-term vision. If you're constantly ping-ponging back and forth between ideas and influence, it's a lack of clarity. It's a lack of focus. Supporting others to be able to amplify focus and clarity through guidance. For example, as a parent, it's not about telling people what to do. It's about showing the possibilities that exist if they want to go down that path. It's about being real and not sugarcoating the reality of the effort required to achieve certain things in life. You have the capacity of doing and being anything you want. What are you willing to give up? And how much thought have you put in to the lifestyle that is the byproduct of achieving those goals? What are you willing to give up? And have you given much thought to the lifestyle that is required to achieve those goals? They don't teach this in school. They don't support people in human development in school. It's how quickly can you niche down to a specialty and then give up everything else for an org, institution, government, whatever. All in exchange for fiat. It's really a clarity issue. It's a lack of awareness, lack of individual understanding about self, about identity, about the capacity to make a meaningful contribution to the world. Now, everybody needs money. That's the reality of the world in which we live. And if it's not money, it's some kind of value of a tradable commodity that will give you something in exchange for that. It doesn't have to be money per se, but you need to eat. Even if you're living off the land, you need the capacity to exchange for goods and services at some point. It's just inevitable. And the trap of finding yourself in a position where you feel like you cannot do anything because you have found yourself locked in to a certain expense pattern that requires you to give up so much of your identity for someone else's benefit so that you can continue living a certain standard that doesn't actually provide you with what you thought it was going to. Being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. It is the most difficult, psychologically grueling and challenging feat you can go on. You have no support. It's you, yourself, and I. And one day, maybe you'll be successful. and you'll have a team and people that can support you. But at the beginning, it's you and you and you alone. You may have mentors, you may have some guides, but ultimately they're not part of your org in the way that you are. You're developing something. And if you turn on Instagram or YouTube, everybody's a fucking millionaire. Everybody's making hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars and, you know, all this. But you know what? This is a fallacy. I am trying to remember some statistics, but most businesses in the United States are breaking even. They're not necessarily profitable. I mean, break even or just above break even. You can be bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars and just be in that category. Now, there are plenty of people that are successful in the United States and in the world. But there's 350 million people, and most people are not in that category. Most people are struggling to make ends meet. Most people are living paycheck to paycheck. And part of that is based on the way in which we were all raised, the education system, and an entrapment of ideas that are limiting our ability to see beyond 10 feet in front of us. Because it's a race to the bottom. It's a race to try to get a degree and to try to get a mortgage and to try to do all these things, and then you're in this fucking rat race of shit without any time or space to be able to do anything in your life that you actually want to do. The things that create meaning are so co-opted by every other output that is pulling you down so that you can afford the lawn care service and that your kids can go to this school because of whatever. You know, it's like, does that bring meaning to your life? Does that create value? You can't take any of this shit with you when you die, and you're not actually out in the world enjoying it. You get your 2 weeks vacation a year or whatever it is. You get fucked up on the weekends because deep down, you know. I don't even have to tell you. Reaction, reaction, reaction. Constantly reacting to the world around you as opposed to leading and taking charge through a grounding process. Showing up for yourself because you know you need to in order to be in service to other people, your family, yourself. You can't look after other people. You can't support other people when you're depleted, when you don't have any energy. You're better than this. You're stronger than this. You have the capacity to grow within yourself. Core values, doing the work, taking time. There's no rush. There's so many people struggling. And from the outside, they look like they have everything. They have a decent salary, they live in a nice home, they have a family, but they're not leveraging all of the quote unquote benefits of having all of this stuff because they're too busy giving up their life so that they can have the stuff. Basic communication within your mind and your body to be able to understand in a clear and profound way what actions are in alignment with what you want to do. People who live like this, I equate the word sacrifice. They sacrifice everything for nothing. Whereas when you're in alignment, this idea of sacrifice doesn't exist because it was never a question to begin with. You're not sacrificing anything because you're living in alignment with what you want. So there's no question to ask about what you're giving up. You're choosing this over everything. Focusing on the things that are going to move the needle forward and only doing those things. Now, I get it. Sometimes you're going to be out of balance. And that's fine, as long as it's intentional and as long as you have an exit strategy. And 20 years is not an exit strategy. 20 years is not saying, I'm going to be out of balance for 20 years. No. It's having specific measurable goals based on outcomes, starting with the end in mind, reverse engineering it through a process that you've clearly laid out, that you're going to leverage by grounding yourself in your priorities and exactly what you want as the outcome, and saying, because of this, this is what has to happen during this period of time. Constantly refining that process, constantly examining data points to be able to say, hey, I'm on track or I'm not. If you're not measuring it, nothing's happening. You're just spinning your wheels. I'm constantly doing this because if I'm not, then I get lost. I lose myself. I lose my path. I lose my grounding force. Most days, not every day, but 99% of the time, I wake up and I ground myself by reading my core value statement. It takes a minute, less than a minute. In the growth blueprint, when you complete the core values pillar, the end result of it is your core value statement. You have your mantra, you have your paragraph, and you have the definitions. But the work, you have to put in the work to get there. This is not an easy thing. Nor should it be, because it's the catalyst for how you're showing up. It's the catalyst for your every action, your thinking, your framework for life. So powerful. And it's there for everybody to use and leverage. And like I say, you're either choosing your values or they're being chosen for you. This is nothing too sophisticated here. You're either reacting to the world around you or leading within it. Your values are either being chosen for you or you've chosen them. And give up other people's expectations. Give up that influence, that pressure of feeling like you have to show up in a certain way for someone else. Fuck that shit. They're not you. They have their own life. They're too busy thinking about themselves. It's challenging, especially as a young person. There's so much pressure, so much influence by your family, by society as a whole, your generational expectations of how you want to be or who you should be in your profession. Especially true for families that have been doing the same thing for generations, like 16 generations of doctors, you know? Like, give me a break. Not everybody wanted to be a doctor. And for what? You give up your entire life for someone else's benefit, and they're gonna die, and then you're left holding that life that you never wanted, miserable because you didn't take action when you were young. The responsibility is yours. Taking your life in your hands, not allowing any influence come through that isn't your own. Now, you can ask for guidance and support once you're clear on all of this, and then influence and support comes in because you're seeking that in alignment to be able to support and uplift you. On that note, check out the show notes. This has been a great walk. I appreciate everybody. If you felt inspired, if you got benefit from this conversation, please drop me a follow, like, share with people closest to you in your life who you feel will get meaning and benefit from this. As always, thanks for dropping in. See you next time.